Welcome back, everybody. I have a brand new one for you today. This is exciting. It's a Texas brisket breakfast quesadilla. We're doing something totally different today. Went down to one of my local Texas barbecue places, Rudy's. Got a couple pounds of brisket. You might have a great barbecue place near you. Rudy's is a Texas chain. They're out of New Braunfels, Texas. We have one down south here in Colorado Springs. Of course, had to get the smells of Texas barbecue. Love going in that place. And I picked up a couple pounds of their brisket. I watched them slice it up. They wrapped it up for me, and we brought it home. Sampled some fresh, whew, so good. One of my rules of quesadilla making, small pieces. You don't want to bite into a quesadilla and pull out 3-inch long piece of brisket or an entire piece of bell pepper. Think about quesadillas, it's bite-sized food, so you want bite-sized morsels inside your quesadilla. Rudy's sells breakfast tacos, and every morning they just really haphazardly throw it in a tortilla with a little bit of egg, and that's it. They serve them out the door really early in the morning while they're doing their lunch prep work. And that's where I got this idea. Years ago when I worked as a Jeep guide on Pikes Peak and Garden of the Gods, I'd stop in the morning and get some of their breakfast brisket tacos. So today I'm thinking we're just gonna mix it up and gonna do a breakfast brisket quesadilla. Blackstone 36-inch Pro Series for quesadillas. I keep it down low, medium-low temperature. You could always turn the temperature up, but if you're burning your quesadilla, it's too late. You know me, I always start out with that coating of oil. Today we have the avocado oil. I'm using my bare hands. Be careful. You might want to use tongs or gloves because it's hot. Brisket is already cooked. It's cooked to perfection. I just want to warm it up. So we're going down on the griddle just a minute or two. Flour tortillas, these are the burrito size. We're gonna do 3 of these today. I'm gonna go down with one of my 2 favorite quesadilla cheese, whatever this brand is called, their queso quesadilla. For some reason, this brand is my favorite. A little bit of sharp cheddar. I like the color contrast. When you bite in, sometimes the white cheese gets lost in the photos and the video, but obviously you can see it's gonna pop with that addition of the orange. It's been a couple minutes, so my brisket is nice and warm. I'm gonna pick it up and gonna spread it around the quesadillas. I like to leave my quesadillas in a big circle. Some people will fold them and make essentially a half quesadilla. I worked at Applebee's about 30 years ago, and this is the way we made them. This has always been the way that I've done quesadillas. Jalapenos, get the seeds out. You could leave them in if you want to. We're gonna keep this really simple. In a traditional quesadilla, a southwestern quesadilla that I have made more often than not, I would have done pico de gallo or some type of salsa. Today we're going real simple. I'm gonna put some pieces of jalapeno in there. Now you can go as much or as little as you want. Make sure that everybody can at least get one bite. Meanwhile, I'm gonna quickly crack a couple of eggs. A little bit of avocado down on the griddle top, down with my egg. Gonna scramble these up really quickly. This won't take any time at all. Picked this up when I was in Rudy's, you know. I was there, so you had to do it. Try not to work the eggs too much. Pull my eggs over to the side. Those quesadillas back. Time for a little bit of egg inside each quesadilla. And I picked up some of the Rudy sauce. Since we're doing brisket quesadillas, this is exactly what I want. This isn't gonna be a southwestern quesadilla. I'm not gonna be using my Cholula chili garlic. No cilantro on this one, but you certainly could put cilantro in there. And then back with a little bit of the cheese on top. Again, we're alternating the queso quesadilla with the sharp cheddar. 1, 2, 3, going underneath for the flip. Sometimes people ask me how to flip quesadillas. You just put your hand on top. Think about like fingers on a clock. You support the tortilla, you go under, and then you do a quick flip. That's all there is to it. I check the bottoms often. Nice thing about having a 36-inch griddle, as you can see, I can turn this thing way down. Or if I look, and I see, hey, I need a little more toasting there, I can crank it back up again. We're just waiting for that cheese to start melting on the inside. Quesadillas were one of the first foods that I made on the griddle. First thing I ever cooked on my Blackstone was an elk burger, and I think quesadillas were probably number 2, so I made a lot of quesadillas early on. That's probably one of the reasons why you haven't seen me make quesadillas in years. I got really burned out on them, but maybe I'm gonna get back into making quesadillas again. We'll see. Check out that cheese. Are we getting closer? Yeah, that's the queso quesadilla. I think Our cheese is looking really good. Time to pull the quesadillas. Woo-wee. And it's time to cut them up. Oh, hear that crunch? Woo-wee. The neat thing about a quesadilla is it could be an appetizer or it could be an entire meal. I'm gonna let you decide on that. Crispy crunch when I cut it, put them around here. I think what I'm gonna do today, I'm gonna put this little cast iron container in the middle, and I'm gonna fill it up with Mexican cream with some crema because I love to have that. Again, I'm talking about that contrast. The white sort of gets lost. A little sprinkle of the Rudy's brisket seasoning. I'm gonna put a little drizzle of the Rudy sauce around the middle, just to remind people that we have as a Texas brisket barbecue breakfast quesadilla. That's a lot of bees. Take a look at that. So good. You could take your quesadillas to the next level, throw in some brisket. Hey, you could even do pulled pork, but I like brisket for this. And brisket goes very, very well with eggs. Let's give it a try. The number one thing that hits me is I bite into a quesadilla. My mind's eye has a picture of what it's going to taste like. It's going to be a quesadilla. Chicken or beef, pico de gallo, cheese, cilantro, Mexican hot sauce. First thing you taste is that brisket, and you smell it. You smell the smoked brisket, and you taste it. The mesquite brisket, beef brisket. Oh my goodness. Immediately, your expectations are changed, and it's incredible. So good. Let's clean the griddle. First things first, I always like to keep my griddle on high heat when I'm cleaning it. The rationale there is grease solidifies, so it's just always easier to clean when your griddle's hot. Don't want to waste that delicious brisket. Woo-wee. How many of you want a bite of that? Wow, pull that aside. Gonna take my griddle scraper. I'm gonna lightly brush all of my food scraps over here. Now, normally I'd throw them away, but I know we have a lot of brisket in there today, so we don't want to waste that. We'll put all these little brisket crumbles over here in my pile. Then we'll take everything else over here towards my grease cup. Now, years ago, I did a griddle cleaning video where I tried to break it down really easily. And I said there are 3 different levels of griddle cleaning. Level 1, level 2, and number 3. There's nothing on there. There's no mess at all. A light scrape, grab your paper towel or your cotton rag, and then you're just gonna simply wipe off the rest of those crumbs. Again, being careful, but you can see we didn't have to double scrape it. I didn't have to use any water. I mean, that's all there is to it. The total cleaning time was maybe 20 seconds. And then I finish it off as always with whatever cooking oil I'm using today. It's the avocado oil, a light coating, and as you can see, my griddle top is ready to store. I can pack it away, or I can start cooking my next recipe, but that's all there is to it. It's so important to keep your griddle top seasoned because that's what creates that non-stick coating. I can spin crepes, make pancakes, do French toast. It's also gonna protect it from the elements. You don't have to worry about rust and all that nasty stuff. Just look at how beautiful my Blackstone griddle top looks. So darn good. I spent a lot of time in Texas on the Blackstone Griddle More tours over the years, and I love Texas brisket, so hopefully you enjoy this. Make sure you're watching all the shows on the Blackstone Network because we have a slew of them. My arm's about ready to fall off. That's a cast iron platter with a couple pounds of quesadillas. Praise the Lord, and pass the Texas brisket breakfast. Texas brisket breakfast quesadillas.